exciting news. Season 3 of Meet the Redmonds podcast launches June 2nd. Join us, Marq and Bev Redmond, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. EST on Facebook, YouTube, and OCPI TV for inspiring conversations about faith, family, and marriage.
Hey everybody, it's Marq.
And it's Bev.
And we are the Redmonds.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Meet the Redmonds. We're talking relationships and how to keep sparks alive when there's distance.
Right. As Marvin Gaye once penned in his song,
Distant
Lovers. Ooh.
Was there a ooh right
There was I think it was a ooh.
Okay.
It wasn't quite a doo-wop song, but it was, I know it was a ooh in there.
It had doo-wop feel to it. But
well, anyway, as Marvin Gaye penned it, Distant Lovers.
Mm-hmm.
How do you maintain your relationship when there's distance in between you and your spouse? Now, we're kind of experts on this because,
You think so?
Yeah, when we dated.
I will challenge. It does not get easy to say goodbye to your spouse.
Yeah, but I mean, we had distance when we were dating. You were in Indianapolis, I was in Chicago, so we were going back every other weekend. Mm-hmm. And then once we got married, we still made the trip Indy to Chicago because we weren't together yet. My wife had to finish up work. I was working in Chicago. Until she got up here, we still had to make some traveling arrangements.
Yes. So it took time to settle in for us anyway as a married couple. So every 2 weeks, Marq was either on Amtrak or I was in my Grand Prix on I-94 hitting the miles. Shout out to my nephew. When he was little, it was Grand Prix.
That just proves to you how old we are. I don't even make Grand Prix anymore.
You'll see them on the road from time to time, and I shed just a little tear.
But even now that we've gotten some years in the game, we still do a lot of traveling. We have a home here in Seattle. We have a home in Chicago. So we always travel back and forth. I'm actually going home on Tuesday.
Because the lucky man here, blessed man, school's out for him. I'm a year-rounder.
So I'm going home, and I'm going home to check on our Chicago home, to check on our Chicago kids. We may have one kid making a transition back home to move in, so I got to talk to him and make some arrangements, and And it's for all good reasons. Coming home is not always a bad thing. That's another show, but know that. If you have to come home, it can work out. Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, what do you think when you talk about long distance relationships? What do you think is one of the first things you need to establish, you think?
Well, the one thing that you have to know is the rules are the same. It doesn't matter whether one is right there with you or away. The same things that your spouse likes, they like when they're at home or when they're away. You also have to keep trust as your main focus. And both people have to be committed to those two things.
Yep, absolutely. I think one of the things that I like to always pinpoint is make your time with your spouse the same as you would if they were there. If you guys go to the movies and go out to dinner, when you're not together, when you're together, do it when you go see them.
So the communication has to increase. Definitely has to increase. You have to talk more. But when you are together, you must make it count.
Right. I think that's what I needed to say. I wasn't quite clear in my explanation.
It was clear.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, when you come in, just don't come in and set your bags down.
Act like you're happy to see the person.
Grab a spot on the couch, get the remote, get to flicking it. No. You got to make that time count, like you said.
Yes. I remember one time, it had been more than our 2-week span, and I got in that car after work. Everybody at work knew where I was going. It was a pattern. You going to Chicago? Yep, I'm headed out the door. I had my bags in the car. but it had been longer for whatever reason than the 2-week schedule. So maybe it was about a month that had occurred. So as soon as I hit that door, and I'm a tall gal, so I ran to see I think I don't even know if we were married then.
I don't think so.
Make yourself happy to see your spouse. Yes, you may have had a long travel, but the travel was about that person. And it will require a little of you. Yes, you may not get as much sleep. Yes, you may do all of those things, but when you see each other, make it count. Don't come in with a list of complaints and a litany of this and that. You can schedule some time to talk about the business of marriage, but make sure that you are planning some connection time.
Now, I think as you get older in marriage, I think it does become a little bit more sometimes business minded because you're taking care of finances, houses, this, that, and other. So you're checking in. Well, I got to do this, and this. So you can't get lost in the business aspect of it.
You can get lost in that sauce, but not as soon as you hit the door.
Right.
Whether it's the hotel room, whether it is, if you're fortunate enough to have another location. I don't care if you're just taking a business trip and it's been a few days. When they return home or they return to your site, make sure you have an open heart and some enthusiasm.
And food.
Yep.
I got to throw that in there. I think the last time you left out of town was when? Why are you patting my stomach? I'm losing it too, people.
Big guy loves a good meal. Yes.
When you left out of town to go see your parents,
yes,
you made me some soup, and I think I've mentioned her tortellini soup on several occasions throughout the 3 seasons of Meet the Redmonds, and she made me some soup.
I can't remember whether it was on the return or before I left.
It was before.
Okay. So
it was before.
You remember.
And she made me some soup, and it was on point.
So, entries, exits, they count. Make them memorable. Make sure you're showing that you care. You're married. You want to be married. You like that person. Again, you like that person.
Yes, you do.
Act like you like that person. What else you got?
I don't know. I like, the old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think that's true. I had somebody argue with me one time. Well, not argue, debate with me that was a Bible verse.
A platitude? A nicety?
Yeah, I don't think it's not a Bible verse.
We'll hit the thesaurus. No, that's words. Concordance. Concordance. Yes.
I don't think it's a Bible verse.
No.
Right.
No.
But
it's a truism.
Right. It does apply.
It can very well apply. Remembering that person isn't right next to you. Sometimes when you are together all the time, I'm not saying this happens in our marriage, but in marriages out there, we've heard that you can get on each other's nerves.
It doesn't happen in our marriage?
Miraculously?
Oh!
As Mark says, no.
People, yes, it happens, yes.
This man can pluck my nerves, and I can pluck his.
Yes, that's why I'm bald right now. But... one of the things that I do, well, this could be another point. I think we're on that third point.
Somewhere.
Third point.
Yes.
Physicality.
Physical touch. Your love language.
Yeah, physicality. See, she's rubbing my back right now, but you don't see that on camera. But yes. Physicality counts.
It does.
I tell you, sometimes when I go home and I'm in Chicago and my wife is not with me, and I've told her this, and I felt kind of I don't want to use the word sucker, but I felt
it's okay.
I felt a little, I felt a ways about telling you this.
Yes.
I would literally take the pillows on her side of the bed and kind of position them.
Make them feel like me.
To kind of emulate Beverly being next to me.
Squishiness is what you're saying. Yes.
And then I would hold the pillows. I feel so bad now.
thought it was sweet.
Yeah,
I can come in the room and see where the pillows have been lined up. Like, aw, Pumpkin missed me.
Don't get it twisted.
Still that guy.
Still that dude.
Yes.
But yeah, I actually put the pillows in a position to
So
kind
you
of
can
emulate
sleep.
you. Right.
It's different.
I can't sleep
as well.
without being next to Beverly. We just don't sleep well.
And since we're doing true confessions, lights come on in the house. Whenever Mark is away, I have to have lights on. If I'm in Seattle, my closet light, that's my night light. I need to see if somebody's coming in to attack me.
I came home one time, and I was still in town. This woman had the lights on.
He came home later, yes.
This woman had the lights on, and there was lights in the kitchen, lights in the bathroom, in the bedroom. I'm like, why you got all these lights on?
You're not here.
But yeah, just the physicality of being with someone.
To recreate for the peoples out there. Somebody's in this house, is occupied, don't try it.
Right, so just the physicality of being next to someone is important, you know?
It is.
So we said, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does.
You said make your intros and exits count.
Make it count. Make your time together count.
We said physicality. What would be a number 4?
Save the business for a scheduled time. And don't make it the last thing that you do. Make it scheduled. So, because there may be some areas, not in our marriage, where you disagree on certain things.
We disagree.
And you have to chop up some stuff. But leave that for a scheduled time. Make sure you cover it, but pick it out. We're going to talk about this from this point to this point, and then we'll get into another episode of who makes the final call.
So you said leave the business for later.
Later. Schedule it in. Don't end on the business if you can at all help it. But make sure that you send that person in and out with love.
But we usually check bases with each other if one person is leaving or another person is coming or leaving. We'll touch bases with finances and all that. And I think one of the things that works for us, we never leave in the middle of the month.
Do we leave in
Very seldom do we ever leave in the middle of the month. It's always either toward the end or the first.
That's when the money's fresh.
Yeah, just leaving in the middle of the month is kind of iffy.
We try to plan out things. I don't know if it always works out that cleanly, but it is conscious when we're going, how we're going, when we're coming back. We have that scheduled out. Even if it has to change up a little bit, we plan it out.
Now,
and if you can get back early, hey.
Now, I remember when we were doing we're going to go back to doing book tours, but try to go together if you can.
When you can, or meet up. If there's an in-between point, such as there was a book event that we had in Houston. I'm in Seattle, Mark's in Chicago. I can come for a weekend to Houston and get back. So make sure it's a mutual effort.
Right. So yeah, that's another point. Try to travel together if you can. But you talked about book events, and we're going to have our information, Redmond Projects, our 2 award-winning books, Finally I Do Again, and Revelations of a Real Man or Woman. But you know what? Our best book signings have always been when we're together.
I think so.
Our story doesn't flow as well if it's just one person telling it. Because how are we going to sit there and talk about marriage as only one person? Because the first thing, when I get to flowing, and sometimes I get on a roll and I'm killing it. I mean, I'm actually killing the book signing. But then somebody will come up and be like, this is a book about marriage. Where's your wife?
There's always a hater out there.
Always. What you know about marriage? Where's your wife? Listen, lady, she's at work.
We have promotional material that sits behind us at these things. Didn't somebody say I was Fidelity from Flavor of Love?
I did a book signing. We were at a restaurant in Chicago, and we had a book signing. And I was by myself. And we used a picture of you that was a little older, and you had long hair. But it's a beautiful picture.
I know people don't know.
Man, it was a super.
I had
the picture
very
was
long hair.
The picture was super fine. I mean, super fine. And
much like now, but better.
And on the picture, we had the terms faith, fidelity, and family. And fidelity happened to be right under Beverly, which means, marriage, right? And this lady looks at the...
You're locked in. You're committed.
So faith was under Kelsey, our son, and family was under Noelle, our daughter,
yes.
and fidelity was under Beverly. And this woman looked at the picture and looked at me. Is that Fidelity from Flavor of Love? I was like, Flavor of Love?
With Flavor Flav? What? It's a Christian book signing, and yes, your story could be anything, sure. But
and we love us some Flavor Flav. Public Enemy, got it on my playlist. But
yes.
But she said, is that Fidelity from Flavor of Love? First of all, I never watched Flavor of Love.
If I'm ever on...
Is there a character named Fidelity?
I don't know.
Have you ever been on Flavor of Love? So...
I was a cooking show, maybe, but no.
Right.
No, I was never on Flavor of Love, never on a reality show. And if I ever do, God bless you, Flavor Flav. No.
So that's what happens when you don't travel together. Even if it's locally, people make assumptions.
People do like to hit on you, too. Hate to say it.
Anyway, yeah, it does. It does. It really does.
People approach. They don't care if you have on a ring, not, all of those things. So, if you're at a distance, y'all, make it count. Your husband, your wife is something special to you. If you don't think they're special, somebody else does.
Which brings us to another point.
Yes.
You talked about communicate.
Yes.
Set a time for communication, unless it's an emergency.
Make your calls.
Yeah, make your calls.
Make your Zooms. Spruce yourself up.
If I call you at 7 o'clock in the morning
and I don't answer,
I'm going to be hot for the rest of the day. and same here.
The big fella likes to repeat call. I could be grooming for the day, getting dressed.
Or in a meeting.
By that time, I'm already on my way to work. Or in a meeting. But if I don't answer on that third ring, there could be ambulances and fire trucks.
But even if you are busy, text. Let somebody know what's going on. Because anything can happen.
Yes. One of Mark's things, if he really wants to talk to me, even if it's not an emergency, I've peeped this out, because it's not always an emergency. This is urgent. Call back. I get out and get off.
I be like, where's
my meeting?
Where's the chili flakes?
I say, what's going on? You know where I put my wallet? Like, what?
And she's not even there. Are we out of butter?
Like, what? Bye, man. But have regular times to check in, beginning and ending of your day, and make it more than just, you good? Be interested in what the person has to say.
Right. And you'll find out the longer you're in this marriage game, the longer you depend on your spouse.
Do you?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Challenge.
I mean, I still put my clothes away and stuff like that. But have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen that? No, I don't know where that is, Beverly.
Mark moves things. He does. And he puts things in different drawers, and then I'm lost. Oh.
But those are just some of the challenges of being apart, long distance.
Little hints.
we gave about 4 points. Do we have any more?
I would say, remember the sparks that you had when you were dating? Mm-hmm. That absence or that distance, try to remember and hold on to that. Go back and talk about things. Remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? Your memories.
Oh, I got another one. I got
Yes.
another one. You just said memories. Don't break your routine.
Okay.
When you go out of town, stick to your normal things that you do when you're at home. If I go out of town and I call you, well, I think I'm gonna do parasailing today. No. So stick to your routine when you go out of town.
Let me just say, if you're not a scuba diver before you left,
Don't become one.
no. You weren't an action hero before you left home, you're not an action hero.
Oh, boy.
Wait. Like, what? Do we have insurance for this? You stay on the ground.
And we were doing the episode and you wouldn't let me get on the boat, remember? The boat was behind us.
No.
I was like, can I get
I
on the
can't
boat?
swim.
I wasn't going to swim. I was going to get on the boat.
In my mind, water near small boat, mind you, big people, no.
It wasn't no canoe. It was a decent sized boat.
It might as well have been a canoe. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, anything else we want to tell our people in podcast land about loving when there's a distance?
Distance, loving when you're next to each other. Sometimes that's harder. You make more of an effort when they're away, but when they're there, treat them like, what was it, Father MC? Treat them like they want to be treated. Treat your mate.
Did you just
right.
quote Father MC? Really?
I did.
You went from Marvin Gaye to Father MC. Treat them like they want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know the rest?
No.
You should treat them right. That was Jodeci, early Jodeci, remember?
Ooh.
They sang the background to that.
Early. When
Right.
everybody started singing on the hooks.
Yeah, so that was
90s?
yeah.
Early?
So,
Not even early 2000s.
right, so that was
90s, yes.
Jodeci singing the hook to Father MC's song, Treat Them Like They Want to Be Treated.
Yes.
But we've had a lot of pop references. We went from Marvin Gaye to Father MC.
We're still saying,
Yes, we are. We're just having a good time trying to get all of our laughter and goofiness out before I hit the airways on Tuesday.
yes, you'll be home.
I'll be
by
home,
Tuesday.
Chicago,
So.
some decent food. Not saying that I didn't have decent food here with you.
That's what he's saying.
No, I'm not.
That's what I heard. We're going to talk about what you heard versus what you said one day.
All right, so we're going to get ready to get out of here.
Where are we going?
Well, you got a meeting, a business meeting on a Saturday.
Zoom.
And I need to clean up a little bit before I go.
Entries and exits.
All right. You know what?
What?
We didn't mention
We didn't
praying.
do anything, Jesus.
We sure didn't. We've been laughing so much today.
Sorry, Lord.
We forgot to talk about praying for your spouse.
Yes. And praying together when they're away. Phone calls, in person. Pray for your spouse. That is the most powerful love language that you possibly could have. Where you miss, Jesus fills in a lot of the gaps.
Yeah, there's some scriptures that talk about leaving. I had to really peruse the Bible to find some. There's some that talk about farewell, leaving on a journey. Mm-hmm. So we will have those scriptures up. I think it's maybe about 2 or 3. So we will have those up. But yeah, I get a burst of energy when you pray for me. Particularly, I'm getting ready to step on the flight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
Yes. So one of the prayers that Mark prays for me, whether I'm in town or out, is about hedge of protection. And it seems simple when you say certain things in prayer, but there are so many unseen things, whether it's the physical or the spiritual, that your spouse is going through on a day-to-day basis, and you want the Lord to always be with you and be with them and be with you as a couple to protect me. the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation. Don't lead us astray. That doesn't always mean that you're out there seeking things to do wrong, but keep us on the straight and narrow. Keep us focused on the main thing. Touch my husband. Keep him safe. Keep him well. Keep everything that he needs to do, whether it's in the classroom, let him be relevant. Let him be focused. Let him do and deliver his best lessons. All of those things are things that I pray for, and I think about him. I meditate on him throughout the day. I wonder how he's doing. God, touch him. Even if I'm just walking down the hallway and he pops into mind, Lord, bless him where he is. I don't know what he's going through. It doesn't mean it's bad, but be there. Enlarge his territory. Make him prosperous. Make him successful. Let his words be seasoned with wisdom and grace. This is my guy. And the prayers that you pray are investments into their well-being.
Amen. That was deep. So you just basically prayed for me before I step on the plane. Pray for your spouse. Really pray for your spouse.
Lay hands on your spouse. Right. I mean, in a godly way.
Right. Keep me safe.
Yes. And I hope you do the same for me.
Oh, of course. I'm going back to Chicago. Please keep me safe.
This is not a prayer, but I have instructions. Things I can and cannot do while Mark Redmond is away from home.
And I got instructions too. Don't fall asleep in your chair in the basement. Get up and go to bed.
At minimum, if you're going to do that, put a blanket over you. Don't get cold.
Don't have people over. Go ahead and tell them. Go ahead. Yeah, I know you. It's been eating at your soul. Go ahead.
I know it doesn't eat at my soul, but until you mention it, then it's like, rrr. But it's not that you can't have people over, but what is your agreement? Now, we love to have a get-together when we go home to Chicago. We open up the house a couple of times out of the year.
The key word is get together. I can't do it by myself because I get in trouble.
A couple. We's married. Yes. It's not so much that he gets in trouble. I like it because it means something to me. That's our representation to our community, our family, to come over to our house. I'm also very wise that today ain't yesterday. Two of you together makes a stronger presentation. In these days where people say things happen and perhaps they didn't happen, you always trust and verify. Yes.
She doesn't mind me and my guys getting together. She doesn't mind. Well, yeah, she minds that too because they can get a little. All right, and we're going to leave you with our catchphrase. It's not her way.
Yes, it is. You want to do it again?
It's not. Okay, let's do it again. It's not Father MC's way.
It's not Marvin's way.
It's the Redmond way. Peace.
Exciting news. Season 3 of Meet the Redmonds podcast launches June 2nd. Join us, Marq and Bev Redmond, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. EST on Facebook, YouTube, and OCPI TV for inspiring conversations about faith, family, and marriage.